Hi, I'm Jonathan Klied, principal of the Klied Design Group Fine Custom Cabinetry in Oakland, California. Michael Killen, who actually we're going to talk about, I think, one of his most important painting of our time, the initiatives of President Biden and the infrastructure plan. Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And you, my friend?
I'm wonderful.
Fantastic. I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to talk with you about your new painting. So I don't really want to talk too much. I'd like you to tell us what's going on with this new work of art.
Well, I am working on interpreting President Biden's infrastructure initiatives on canvas. And I have two groups of paintings that I'm working on. And one group really has one significant painting in it, and that is President Biden's plan for an advanced electric grid. And that painting will be 6 feet high and 15 feet long. And then I am looking at his initiative to rejuvenate the United States heavy manufacturing sector, cement, steel, and chemicals. And I'm also looking at one more topic, and that one has to do with water, specifically to remove salt from the water to help the United States meet its requirements for safe and plentiful water. Big mouthful, huh, Jonathan?
It is a lot. It is an awful lot. So let's try to unpack some of this. So let's talk about your inspiration when you're painting the initiatives, and the initiatives are known, obviously, they're written verbally. Or not verbally, they're written and they're talked about verbally. How do you create, and what is your process of creating the imagery for this?
My process, let's take the electric grid, the advanced electric grid. I think about the audience, and I'm very much into influencing in terms of trying to help inform, educate, and positively impact the audience. So I'm thinking about, for this particular painting, the major suppliers of electricity in the United States, like in California, it's PG&E, and there's others across the country. I'm thinking about their needs, and then I'm also thinking about the needs and interests of us human beings in this country. And that's a good start.
I want to go to just for a moment to the desalinization, because I think this seems to be a new one for you.
Yes, and when I look at President Biden's infrastructure plan, I do not see that word, that term. I think we will see it in the future added to his list of initiatives. And I say that because, California is thirsty right now. California is going to be more thirsty. Arizona, other parts of the country are going to be more thirsty. And I believe it's important for me to focus on that topic. And in my painting, I will articulate the kind of energy solution is needed to make the desalination process work.
Understood. So how do we help the general public and the consumers of energy, and how do your paintings fit in to that strategy?
Well, the voters, the consumers need to support whatever government is in Washington running the show. And the states also need to appreciate, for example, what the Biden administration or the next administration after that administration, what they are offering the states, the regional governments, the local governments, to have the knowledge of the benefits of going along with the federal government in building plants that will help separate the salt from the water.
Mhm, mhm.
In terms of the imagery, I think Aristotle informed us that the imagery appeals to people's emotion. However, there are some famous philosophers who have made the statement that a painting, an image, starts the process of informing and educating someone. And when a voter has to make a decision, say who they're going to elect for president or for some other position, in decision making, people go first to what they know, and then they move forward in determining what they do. So my imagery helps inform, educate, but that's just one part of our delivery. And you mentioned, I think you mentioned some documents and some television shows, or I think you will mention that.
Yes, no, that was definitely mentioned, that it's a multi-pronged approach, with the art spearheading to elicit a certain response, and then with the scientific data and backup that people can go to ours or elsewhere, and be able to get on board with these initiatives.
So earlier you asked about my process of making a painting, and I belabored the point that I think about the needs of the suppliers, the customers, the government, etc. I think about that. And then I also start to think about the imagery, but I don't go too far there. I sit down with Alice Kanara and Ripu Malhotra and other experts, folks that really have an understanding of the present electric grid and where an advanced grid will take us. And I take in their insights, and then I start thinking about making the painting, and I'm thinking about the imagery that is needed to articulate the painting. For example, I'll share one piece of imagery. We now have to be more concerned than ever against cyber attacks to the grid. So I think about what kind of imagery would address a cyber attack. Well, 1, 0, 0, 1s, a whole series of ones and zeros, and I can have them coming from outside the painting into the painting, and I can put red devils along with it. And that those ones and zeros, you know, the language of the computers, would represent a dangerous cyber attack, and I'd have it heading toward a wire or a substation. And when it about to hit the wire, I would have a lock, a physical lock painted, and the ones and zeros would be reflected and not go into the grid. So I start thinking about those developments, those issues, and maybe I start putting on my 15-foot painting pieces of the imagery, and then I look to see that I can make everything work as a painting.
So you had mentioned your consultations with the experts.
Yes.
In speaking with them over this period of time, and even before this particular painting, Was there one thing or several things that really kind of threw you and surprised you from what they've told you, things that you just had absolutely no idea?
I had no idea how an electric grid would start a massive forest fire. And from, I think, Rapu Malhotra, he explained to me then when a wire breaks and it falls down on the ground on the present electric grid, the electricity is still flowing and the system does not realize it's flowing, and the place where the wire hit the ground, it's issuing out sparks, or it causes the ground, the grass, whatever, to start burning. So that was one little insight, specific insight that helped me understand why when a wire breaks, it creates a fire. And then he pointed out to me, we're going to have to build into the system something called synchronous phasers that will enable a substation to sense when a wire breaks instantly, and before that wire touches the ground, it shuts off the flow of electricity. That, I think anyone who works with the electric grid, the engineers and scientists, etc., they know that. But it's new to someone like me who does not specialize in that type of topic.
Right. And in the less than 2 minutes that we have, where can people begin to see these works of art?
Well, I have already painted 2 of the President Biden initiatives, and one is President Biden's plan to build the United States electric vehicle network and create jobs. And I've already created Stanford Smart Campus. It's an example of Biden's initiative, the benefits of Biden's initiative to increase the energy efficiency in clusters, I think 1,000 clusters of buildings across the United States. Where Killen.com is a good place to start.
Great, great. Well, Michael, it's always such a pleasure to be with you, to hear your insights. I'm very, very pleased that you're talking about water and the desalinization now, which I think is a very, very important aspect. And certainly I look forward to numbers of chats in the future. And on behalf of all of us, certainly, we thank you for the great work that you're doing, bringing this vital issue to the public through your wonderful works of art. And hopefully many, many people will see this and they'll go to Killen.com to get more information. And I want to thank our audience for tuning in. And I am Jonathan Klied for this edition of the Killen Report. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.